Today I want to speak about the technical definition of evolution. I've been discussing it a lot lately because essentially I've been talking with different people and asking them when evolution has genuinely been scientifically proven, and by that I mean empirically observed. The problem is, in order to tell whether something has in fact been scientifically proven and empirically observed, you have to know exactly what you're looking for. This, in the case of evolution, is quite problematic. This is because if you look in the dictionary for the definition of evolution, you find this: the process by which different kinds of living organism are believed to have developed from earlier forms, especially by natural selection. Now that is a respected dictionary's definition of evolution. Fair enough. However, if you look at the technical definition, what you find is it actually says something completely different, which is this: evolution can be precisely defined as any change in the frequency of alleles within a gene pool from one generation to the next. So this leads to the simple question: how do you get such disparate definitions for something which is meant to be the same thing? Both those definitions are supposedly defining evolution. The answer goes back to the original problem that I was having in the debate in the first place. For something to be scientifically proven, it has to be observed. Since we can't observe evolution in the sense that the dictionary defines it, in order to prove it, the goalposts must essentially be redrawn. They have to be redrawn so widely, in fact, that basically the technical definition of evolution can cover practically anything. To give you an example of how absurd the technical definition is, if you have two parents and they give birth to a normal, healthy child, no strange mutations or anything like that, just an average child, technically evolution has just taken place by the couple giving birth. In reality though, we know that this isn't the process of evolution at all, and this is actually just the normal process of reproduction. And in no way can such an event explain how we supposedly came from the initial first cells to ever exist to the advanced life forms that we are and we see around us. That which supposedly proves evolution can't explain what evolution supposedly explains. In reality, when people discuss evolution, and what people say when they say evolution has been scientifically proven, is that they're saying the explanation of how we came from the very first initial cells on the planet to become the advanced life forms, they're saying that has been proven. What is needed for that to happen, and what needs to be proved for that to happen, is that random mutations can occur which produce novel and positive biological mechanisms in an organism. But people can't use that definition, because if they did, then they'd have to admit that actually we don't have any scientific evidence to show that evolution occurs. Now, before you say it, or before you comment on it, which no doubt many of you will be rushing to do, bacteria and viruses don't count, because they are respectively self-engineering and antigenic shift, neither of which are random mutations which produce novel biological mechanisms. So that leads to the question, why keep two definitions at all? After all, we live in a modern world. How is it that the people of the dictionary writing companies somehow haven't quite worked out that the technical definition is what can be found within 5 minutes looking on the internet? It seems a bit odd, really, that it hasn't clicked. But of course you have to look at the result if they did switch to the technical definition. If everyone uses a technical definition, it will mean that people will read it and realise that it's practically meaningless. The idea that alleles change in a gene pool from one generation to the next has never really been disputed whatsoever, and frankly, even before they knew about genetics, they could probably work that one out to just looking at phenotypes. So that means if everyone used the technical definition, when someone says, oh, we've proved evolution, you'd say, yes, but that's meaningless and pointless. All you've proved is what we knew already, which is that genetics changes from one generation to the next. We already knew that, there's nothing new. That doesn't explain the supposed theory of explaining how advanced organisms originated from simple ones. However, if everyone uses the practical definition, well then that leads to problems as well, because that means we have to admit that actually we don't have any evidence for evolution whatsoever, and so it can't really be classed as real science, which many atheists would be very upset with. By keeping the two together, for the simple folk who don't know much about science, you have the ordinary dictionary, and for those who are genuinely involved in science, we have the technical definition. We have a splendid resolution. Because the people who are in real science can claim to have proved evolution, even though evolution is completely different to what everyone's thinking it is, and then those who are atheists can say, yes, evolution has been proved, and claim essentially that something completely different has actually been proved to what anyone's actually thinking when they say evolution has been proved. I'll explain that again just to make sure. The actual scientists can say they've proved evolution, and then the atheists can say evolution has been proved, but imply something completely different to what the scientific meaning actually is. It's a doublethink which Orwell would be proud of. Thank you for listening.